We're going to take a look at the latest Todd McShay mock draft in today's show. See who he had Big Blue selecting with pick number 25 in the 2023 NFL Draft. We're also going to take a look at some new DeAndre Hopkins trade rumors as Bleacher Report thinks that the Giants could be a top landing spot for Hopkins. They also gave us a trade idea, which is going to give us a little bit of inside information on what it may cost to get D-Hop in the Big Apple. You're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Let's get the word out about New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. Share this video over on Twitter before we start today's show. How do you do that, you might ask? It's very simple, I'll tell you. Click the share button underneath the video. It's right here. You know what I'm talking about. Then select the Twitter icon and then click post to Twitter and then tag me in the tweet at @MarshallGreen_, and I will A, give you a follow back, B, give you a retweet, and C, give you a shout out coming up on our live show, which goes down every Monday about 5 p.m. Eastern time. So share this video, hit the share button, click Twitter, post to Twitter, tag me on Twitter. We'll give you a shout out, follow back, and a retweet coming up on later videos. Before we tell you who the Giants selected with pick number 25, I just want to go quickly through the rest of the picks in this mock draft so you know exactly who was on the board. You got Bryce Young going number 1 to the Indianapolis Colts. This is a mock draft with trades, so there were some trades that went down. You got Bryce Young 1, C.J. Stroud 2, Will Anderson 3 to Arizona, and Jalen Carter number 4 to the Chicago Bears. Then you got Tyree Wilson, the edge out of Texas Tech, going to Seattle. You got Miles Murphy, the edge as well. A couple edges back-to-back there. Then another QB, Will Levis, going to the Raiders at number 7. Then you got Peter Skoronski, who I believe is the best O-lineman in this draft, going to the Atlanta Falcons to round out the top 8. A surprise, Anthony Richardson going really early in this mock draft. Then you see Quentin Johnson go number 12 to Houston. We know the Giants are in on wide receivers, so that's one off the board. Then you see Broderick Jones, an offensive tackle. Joey Porter Jr., I'm a big fan of him. Him and a big Bill Belichick defense would be electric. Michael Mayer, the tight end out of Notre Dame, could be an option, but he's off the board. Then you got Devin or Devon, not exactly sure, Witherspoon. Another corner off the board. Giants need a corner, a receiver, interior offensive lineman, or a middle linebacker. You're seeing those fly off the board. You got another corner and Christian Gonzalez going at 17. Keely Ringo, someone I'm really high on, going on 18. Then you got Brian Branch, the safety out of Bama, going 20 to Seattle. Then another corner, Cam Smith, going to the Chargers. Then you got 2 receivers. How unfortunate is that, going right before when the Giants are on the board? You got Jordan Addison going to number 23, and you got Jackson Smith and Jigba going at 24. So a lot of top receivers are off the board, and a lot of top corners are off the board. So the question is, who are the Giants going to take at this spot? This is my big board of the top guys left at pick 25 if the draft fell out the way it did that McShay mocked it. I like Osiris Torrance, the interior offensive lineman out of Florida. Good guard, good run blocker, good pass blocker, and he's also athletic. Zay Flowers, the wide receiver out of Boston College. A little bit smaller, but I like his upside, and I think he's just a nasty playmaker and route runner. Nolan Smith, an edge out of the SEC. He's a guy that can put his hand in the dirt and rush, but he can also drop into coverage. The guy's only 230 pounds, so he's a little bit light in the tail, but he's fast, athletic, and can get after the quarterback. Jalen Hyatt, the explosive receiver out of Tennessee, is someone I'm looking at as well. I love Drew Sanders, the inside linebacker out of Arkansas. He is a sideline-to-sideline tackling machine, and he's someone that gets downhill when he's called on to blitz, and that would be great in a Wink Martindale defense. I also like Deonte Banks, the corner. He's the top corner I have left on my board. You got the top interior offensive lineman on my board left, Osiris Torrance. Zay Flowers and Jalen Hyatt. I have Flowers ahead of him. I like the big play of Hyatt. Then you got Sanders as well as Nolan Smith and Deonte Banks. But with the 25th pick of the Todd McShay mock draft, he selected Zay Flowers out of Boston College to be the next member of the New York Football Giants. And my immediate reaction is I'm happy with this because he's a playmaker, and that's what the Giants need. They need more playmakers on offense. 5'10", 172. That's the biggest concern right now with Zay Flowers. But if you watch his tape, you watch what he's done leading up into the NFL draft, that stock is skyrocketing. He can play in the slot. He can play on the outside. Some people compare him to a young Antonio Brown. Not talking about the crazy AB. I'm talking about the crazy talented one that's arguably the best wide receiver of this generation. This is what Todd McShay had to say about Zay Flowers going to the Giants at pick 25. He said, "We saw a run on corners in the middle of the first round, and now we get another on receivers." That's 3 receivers in a row. The Giants' wideout issues are well documented as they relied on Darius Slayton, Richie James, and Isaiah Hodgins to carry the load last season. Wan'Dale Robinson will be returning from a torn ACL, but Slayton and James will join Sterling Shepard, also had a torn ACL, in NFL free agency. It looks like Daniel Jones will be back in New York, but will GM Joe Schoen improve the supporting cast? I really like Flowers' skill set. He's elusive in the open field and has the speed to separate from coverage. And I 100% agree with Mr. Todd McShay. Zay Flowers is a special, special player, ladies and gentlemen. You might look at him and say, 5'10", 170. Don't we already have a guy like Wan'Dale Robinson that can do that? No doubt about it. But this is a guy that I think is much better than Wan'Dale Robinson. He's not just a gadget player. Not saying Wan'Dale is. I don't want to box him in. But this is a guy that can play on the outside, and he has number 1 wide receiver skill set and potential. I think it would be a home run type of move. And I'm going to give you some advanced stats and more scouting profile coming up on Zay Flowers. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Athletic Greens. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Get hooked up with them. That link's in the comments and description of today's video. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. Get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning, and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. AG1 empowers the gut for whole body health, which is something that your boy needs. I start the day with making one great choice, AG1, and more healthy decisions then follow. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning. I also absolutely love that it costs less than $3 a day. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Link is at the bottom of the screen. It's also in the comment section and description of today's video. Let's talk more about Zay Flowers before we get to those DeAndre Hopkins rumors. If you just look at the raw stats, you can't argue that Zay Flowers is an absolute beast. 78 catches for over 1,000 yards, 13.8 yards per catch, 12 touchdowns, 12 receptions of over 20-plus yards. So this is a guy that is a big play type of player. He is someone that can do absolutely everything on the football field. I love everything there is to love about a guy like Zay Flowers. And when you look at some advanced analytics, these come from Pro Football Focus, who has Zay Flowers as their number 1 wide receiver in this draft. They compared him to a young T.Y. Hilton. He only had 9 drops last year, a less than a 10% drop rate, which was 420th in the nation. He averages 6.5 yards after catch. He forced 15 missed tackles. He had 12 deep catches, 500 deep catch yards. He had 27 catches on screen passes and caught 7 contested catches. You see where he kind of does his damage on the football field. Notice this, deep down the field, that's where Zay Flowers thrives. And I'm going to be honest, the Giants need more explosive playmakers. They need a guy that can take the top off the defense. That is 100% Zay Flowers. There are some pros and cons to every single player. These also come from PFF. They do a great job over there. They said he's got the type of ability where you can't touch him in a phone booth. He can get jiggy with it and make you miss. He avoids contact when running routes really well. He knows how to meander his way down the football field and avoid running into players that are bigger than him in that first level of the defense. He has that unlikely to catch him from behind speed. He is extremely athletic and extremely fast. If he gets into open green grass, he's throwing up the peace sign, and it's going to be a party in the end zone. The cons, he's got a small catch radius with mediocre ball skills, according to them. That makes sense. He's 5'10", so Daniel Jones would have to hit him in a tight spot. He gives away his intentions too easily at the top of his route. Got to become a better route technician, and he's not a master over the middle yet. He hasn't been a guy that just can read the defense, sit down in holes, and get open, on third and short at the intermediate spot. But I think Zay Flowers could be the pick, and I think it's because of what he brings to the football field. Remember what Joe Schoen had to say about Wan'Dale Robinson, who is a similar player to a guy like Zay Flowers, but I think Zay just has way more natural receiving ability. Two smaller guys that are absolutely dogs with the ball in their hands, yards after catch monsters. Joe Schoen said this about Wan'Dale Robinson. Said, Robinson is a good football player we've had our eye on. A generator with the ball in his hands. A very good run after the catch, very good route runner, and can separate. And for what we are going to do offensively, we thought he would be a very good fit for us. Is he talking about Zay Flowers right there? Because it sounds like he is. Don't be shocked if when April rolls around and good old Roger Goodell goes to the podium and says, with the 25th pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Boston College, because he brings, look, Joe Schoen told you what he wants in a receiver. That is what Zay Flowers is. We'll get to those D-Hop trade rumors coming up. But first, I want you guys to get involved in the comments section. Grade the Zay Flowers pick for me down below. Get out your red pens. I give it a B+. I'm a fan of the move. I think Zay Flowers is going to be phenomenal in the NFL. Let me know what you think. A, B, C, D, or F. And also make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel because leading up to the NFL Draft, NFL free agency, really the whole entire NFL offseason, we're going to keep you up to date with everything Big Blue. Videos every single day on the latest news and rumors. When the Giants signed Isaiah Hodgins, we did 2 videos yesterday. However many videos we got to do to keep you up to date, we're going to do it. Help us get to 25,000 subs. We're almost there. YouTube.com/NYGiantsTV. I want to circle quickly and finish this show just on DeAndre Hopkins because Bleacher Report listed Hopkins as a Giants trade target. Yet again, it's been an ongoing theme this offseason that the Giants have been linked to Hopkins. Why? Because the Giants need a wide receiver, and Hopkins is going to be traded. It already sounds like Hopkins and the Arizona Cardinals have agreed to go their separate ways. This is what Bleacher Report had to say. They said the next step for him, Daniel Jones, is to get him a legitimate number 1 target, and DeAndre Hopkins is a great fit. The 30-year-old wide receiver only played in 9 games in 2022 after serving a 6-game suspension for violating the league's performance-enhancing drugs policy, and he still had 64 receptions for 717 yards and 3 touchdowns. In other words, he was just about as productive as the Giants' number 1 receiver, despite playing in 7 fewer games. Playing with Hopkins could unlock another lever for Daniel Jones. Given Hopkins' contract, age, and injury history, Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated estimated that a day 2 pick would be the likely price to get the receiver out of Arizona. That's well worth the potential he would bring to the Giants offense. And I 100% agree with what Bleacher Report had to say, because when you look at the type of receiver and production that DeAndre Hopkins has given you over the last 4 years, he is still an elite receiver in this league. Last year, we told you 64 catches, 717 yards, only 9 games played. But look what he did in 2020 and 2019. Over 100 grabs, over 1,400 yards, and 6-7 touchdowns. You're not getting the D-Hop that's going to give you those type of stats, but I think he can still put up a year over 1,200 yards, 6-7 touchdowns, and 100 grabs. I still think Hopkins has elite juice to give. And this was the Bleacher Report trade idea. And I was shocked when I saw it. They said they think it would only cost a 3rd-round pick, and that being the Giants' 3rd-round pick, which they have 2 of, that would be pick number 101. I believe that's the pick that comes from the Kadarius Toney trade. Look, I would do this in a heartbeat. You get a number 1 receiver, and you get somebody that's going to make this football team better and make the life for Daniel Jones easier. Would you make this trade? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I want to hear from you guys down in the comment section. Look, if it only costs pick number 101 in the 3rd round of this draft, 100% make this trade. Make this trade today. Please let D-Hop and Daniel Jones start cooking in the offseason. Let them go to Duke like Eli did and like Jones has done. Let them go to Cabo and start working together, getting that chemistry together. There is no reason that you should not make this trade if it only costs a 3rd-round pick. I understand he's 30. I understand he's probably going to want a new contract. But you know what? The Giants need more good players, and that is what DeAndre Hopkins is. He is still an elite number 1 wide receiver when healthy. If he makes this trade, if this trade happens, I know some Giants fans will be upset off the bat. But I think by week 6, week 7, you'll be wanting a number 11. Not going to be 10, maybe a number 11 or number 12, 15. I don't know what it will be. You're going to want a DeAndre Hopkins jersey. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. A long video today, but the real ones made it to the end. So make sure you share this video on Twitter. Give me a follow at @MarshallGreen_.